Alright everyone, welcome back. Been slowly picking away at this valveless project here. Not getting too much done, chasing kids around, but some of that stuff is starting to ease up a little bit, so I'm getting a little more time to get out here and get something done. Started bolting this thing down. First of all, I had to get the crank installed so I could get the flywheel on, because I wanted to make sure I had enough room between the trailer and the flywheel before I started bolting it down. So I got the crank installed, got the counterweights on the crank, everything's looking good there. I got the caps installed, got the cross bolts that go all the way through on both sides. Them are looking good. Flywheel went on good. I got the keyway in. I'm gonna have to make some new. See if I can get you in the sunlight here. These bolts are in pretty rough shape. They're half rotted through. So those are the bolts that go through the flywheel. So I gotta make some new bolts or find some new bolts. I'll probably just make some new studs and put nuts on each end to hold that down. Next thing I gotta do is I gotta get this housing here cleaned up and put back together. That goes on the side here. That drives the governor housing. Bolts turned out pretty good. Let's see if I can get you a shot underneath. So it's all bolted down. I think I'm going to put a piece of steel under here, maybe go across to that other one. So I have three pieces of flat stock that goes all the way across. That's the plan anyway. Just to stiffen things up a little more. I got one more bolt I got to put in up here. I gotta drill a hole for this one, but I gotta get this governor housing out of the way, so let's work on that next. I gotta pull the arm off for the lubricator. I got let's see, 3 bolts there. I'll probably pull this magneto off. Let's get after it. I guess while we're at it, I might as well show you what's going on in here. This housing has its own oil supply in here. So I assume that this is the oil level, but you can kind of see up in there. There's a gear that drives the governor. And then there's another cam here that drives that. There's another shaft in there that goes back and forth. And that drives that arm for the lubricator. And then this is cammed. And that drives the plunger for the igniter or magneto, whatever you want to call it. I guess it's a magneto. So this has to be timed to the crank to top dead center. So I guess somewhere right in there is top dead center. That other shaft has a bunch of holes in it, so it goes in there and you just pick the holes that's closest and bolt it down. The only other issue with this is this housing has to be on there before the flywheel, because this long bolt right here, you can't get it out. The flywheel passes right over top of it. So whatever we're going to do here, we need to make sure that this is back on and ready to go before we go throwing the flywheel on, because otherwise we're not getting this back on there, and it'll just make a lot of more work for me. So here's the drive plunger that goes up inside the magneto. I made that, so that little plunger just pushes on that, and that slides up inside there and trips that mag. So alright, let me get this off of here. Alright, well, we got it off of there. I know I told you this thing had its own oil supply, but I forgot that there's a line that goes to the top of this governor here. So it gets fresh oil all the time coming from the lubricator. So I guess it just gravity drains down to the bottom, and I don't know if you just pop the plug out and let, I'm assuming you don't want it full of oil, because there is some, I don't know if you can see it, I believe those fingers there are meant to just splash oil around, and I'm assuming if you got oil halfway up in this gear, it's just flinging it around. So alright, I just want to clarify that. And there is a line on the back of here. I don't know what it's for. I don't know if maybe somebody just shoved that in there at one point, but that kind of looks like an oil level to me, but I could be wrong. So, all right, we'll get this mess cleaned up in here. We're gonna get that hole drilled and we'll be back. All right, well, I had quite a mess down in here. I did find one treasure. I had a bolt that was laying down inside there, so I just took my wire wheel and cleaned this all up, blew her out, but let's drill this hole. Guess my plan is just to try and keep it straight. It's kind of a tight fit in here. I don't know how this is going to go. Guess that wasn't too bad. Clean this hole out a little more. All right, let me get my bolt. These are the studs I made a long time ago. My little South Bend lathe. Just gonna put a little bit of oil on them and run them in. Alright, I'm back. I couldn't find my hammer board. I walked past it on the floor about 10 times, so let's get these knocked in there. Alright, that looks pretty good. Take out the thing here. Alright, well, we got her back on there. I cleaned up all the mating surfaces. Just kind of buffed them up with a wire wheel. Nothing's permanent yet. I got a lot of cleaning and work to do on this housing. but we got our stud in there. That washer is a very tight fit. That nothing's touching it, but it's pretty close. So that's that. We're gonna keep picking away here. The next thing to do, I think, is this housing. Get this mounted up here. I gotta make gaskets for that. And summer tractor show season is just getting ready to get started. So we got West Branch coming up. We got Standish Sunrise side coming up. Midland tractor shows coming up. Of course, we're going to Buckley, so, and chasing kids around. So we'll do what we can out here when we can, and rest is that. So I'll talk to you guys later.